Okay. Hello. I don't think it says my stream health is very good. Oh well. Hello everyone. Hi Elizabeth. How are you doing today? Hi Kitty. Doing good? I'm not excited about work tomorrow. Ugh, I'm feeling kind of out of it right now. So excuse me. I just want to see. So I'm tweeting Brock because I really want his spreadsheet. And I was hoping it would be out, but I mean, I totally understand him needing some time to do it, or even not doing it at all, since there's literally no obligation for him to do it, let alone share it with everyone. But I figured I'd tweet him really quickly and be like, just so you know, I really, really want your spreadsheet. Please and thank you. So today, I don't know what I'm going to talk about today. Quite. I'm going to be, I don't know, I guess talking about my goals for the year, what I'm hoping to do with my reading, especially, it's not necessarily going to be for the whole year, but for the first 5 months of the year or so, I have some stuff I want to work on, and then reading wise, and then for the rest of the year there is like a year-long goal that I want to do. But 255 books, holy cow, that's freaking incredible. Especially since you don't DNF a lot, right? Does that include DNFs, not include DNFs? I didn't end up using a spreadsheet this year, and I really wish I had. Really wish I had. But it didn't happen. So this year I want to be like very careful and being like, yes, I'm for sure gonna do that this year. I was gonna say something. Oh, that's what I was looking something up. Hi Libby, you haven't missed anything yet. That counts the DNFs. Okay. I'm really pleased with how much I DNF'd this year. I was looking at it, and like my ratio of books my ratio of books that I rated 1 star versus the ratio of books that I rated 1 star that I DNF'd is like most of the books I gave 1 star to, I ended up DNFing, and I only ended up like completing like 7 1-star books, which I'm very happy about. It means I didn't read a ton of books I absolutely hated. I like quit them all for whatever reason. Okay. I was just checking something to make this as accurate as possible. Hi, Keisha. Yeah, you read so much from NetGalley. That's amazing that you got that many from NetGalley, though. That's like hecka impressive. I'm the one live streaming. I should probably be talking, but I don't know. I'm feeling kind of fuzzy today. I'm like, really want to live stream, but I'm struggling. So basically, my plans for the year, I don't know. I want to keep my reading very realistic this year. Like, my plans realistic, because I really like making really super ambitious goals for myself. And it's fun, and I can still make ambitious goals on top of this, but this is going to be like my base goal. If I can finish my base goal, I will be overjoyed. And my base goal is very doable. And on top of that, any extra reading that I do is going to be awesome. So my best goal for the year is essentially just to listen to 3 hours of audiobooks from books from Audible each day, and then on my days off listen to 6 hours each day, because I really just want to catch up and be on a purchase listen ratio on Audible. I don't like being this far behind, and I would like to be to the point where every time I buy something on Audible, I end up listening to it within a 3-month or so time period. I think is realistic, and I would like to get to that point. But right now, I'm nowhere close to that. I have, like, I don't know, a lot. Roughly, let me see. 5, 10. I think I have roughly 30 to 40 audiobooks on Audible currently that I've bought within the past year, which is way too many. And I want to listen to them all in the first like 6 months of the year. So that's what I'm setting up right now, is like my base goal for January of which audiobooks I want to get to. Ooh, I should have logged myself into Audible as well. Let me see. Audible.com. I'm setting my goal for 100 so that I don't stress out. I'm like, that seems totally doable. Clan of the Cave Bear is 20. Perfect. Oh, Cave Bear is 2 different words. Dang it. Yeah, and you don't always have to increase it either. Like, even if you surpass it by, like, a huge amount, it just means that you surpassed your goal by a huge amount. And, I mean, definitely reevaluate your goal, but you can also just be like, wow, I beat my goal by, like, 500% or something. Like, that's a really cool thing to be able to say. Yeah, so my main goal for the year is catching up on Audible books and making them a super big priority. And if I do make them a big priority, I will be able to completely be caught up within, I don't know, pretty much almost caught up, except for with maybe stuff that I purchased in the first half of the year that hasn't happened yet. I'll totally be able to be caught up by, like, May. The end of May, hopefully. And then I was thinking over the summer, over June, July, and August, I can focus on romance books and just, like, having fun over the summer and reading, like, way excessive amounts of romance like I did last summer, and I had so much fun with it. So that's the plan. That's the number one plan. And then the other goal, my other base goal for the year, is I want to finish 52 series, and I want to be very strict with myself and finish a series a week, because there's no reason why I can't do that. Literally no reason why I can't do that. I took a serious look at it, and by finish, I mean either 100% complete the series, decide to DNF it, which I'm getting it off my list, so that counts as well, even if I read, like, the first, like, 100 pages of the book, and then DNF it, like, I'm still counting that as a completed series, and also catching up on a series. If I was caught up on a series last year, a new book came out this year, and then I read that book, that counts as completing it as well. And I don't know, I can totally meet this goal easily. It's just the books that I already have on my Goodreads, just already the books that I have on my currently reading series, I can easily meet this goal. And so why not? Hi, Liz. Yeah, I totally understand that, and I did that with a lot of series as well. And I also want to get to the point where every series that I'm currently reading, I've read within the past year, at least an installment, so that way I don't have to go back and reread, because, I mean, I do love rereading, and I'm fine with doing that for, like, some of my favorite, like, series and stuff, but, like, I don't want to have to do that in order to continue on with a series. Yes, DNFing is the best goal. Oh, I don't know if I'd rather read Clan of the Cave Bear or An Extraordinary Union first. I think maybe An Extraordinary Union, because that way I can get it out of the way super fast over the weekend and not be, like, really depressed for a long amount of time, because An Extraordinary Union is about the Civil War, and reading books about the Civil War makes me super sad. So if I can just, like, pound it out over 3 days and not, like, read it over the course of, like, 4 or 5 days or something, I think that would be good. And then my other, like, base goal for the year, I guess, it would be reading for, instead of setting, like, daily goals where I'm like, I want to listen for 5 hours every day, period. And if I don't meet that 5-hour thing, I feel like I've failed. Instead of doing that, I want to set like a monthly / weekly goal. General, like monthly, and then also break it down into weekly goals. And so like my goal would be I want to listen to 45 hours of audiobooks every week. And if I listen to any more than that, usually if I'm having a bad reading week, I usually get around 30 to 40, so it's not like that's particularly hard. And then if I'm having a really good reading week, I can usually get around 60 to 80 or 90. So I know that I can overexceed this goal by a lot if I want to, but I just want to get these base things done, and then if I do, so it's almost like an incentive, where like if you get these things done that you have to read, like your Audible books and finishing your series, then you can read whatever you want and like focus on other like fun things. I don't know. Where like I am excited to read all the books that I own on Audible. I am, because I bought them, and that's like the reason I bought them. So anyway, those are like my 3 like base things that I want to work on. Even if it's an arc. Yeah, that's really important, Elizabeth, for sure. Yes, big books for sure. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I don't know. Like, I like to set myself, like, daily goals and, like, plan out a week at a time and stuff, but I would rather just set it as, like, a monthly goal and be like, I like meeting my monthly goal, and I can, like, look at that. So even if I have, like, a really terrible, like, 3 days where I don't read anything at all because I literally feel like garbage and I'm asleep the whole time I'm home, which happens sometimes like that. If you guys remember, that happened during, like, the Newts readathon. I had, like, 3 days where I read nothing because every time I got home from work, I had, like, a migraine, and so I just, like, slept the whole time for 3 days and didn't get any reading done. But overall, I like met my goal, so it was fine. And I would like rather just like look at it that way and be like, so this is my monthly goal broken down into weekly goals, but I just need to like remember on a monthly basis. So one thing I'm using to track this, let me pull it up and see if I can. Sign in? I think I have a thing. Okay, that's right. Alright, so I have this, which is Wonderlist, and here I've set a monthly goal, not a monthly goal, a weekly goal for myself. So through December the 31st through January the 6th, these are the things that I 100% know that I want to get to. And then I'll set myself one for the next week, for the next week, for the next week. And I kind of want to do it like at a month at a time, like look ahead. This is like everything I for sure know that I can get to, that's realistic goals, and that like I want to like for sure read. And then anything else is just like the icing on top. I'm gonna turn my phone on silent. My family is messaging, and when they get messaging, they get a bit extreme. So Clan of the Cave Bear, that only has me through the 18th, those two. So I'm actually gonna choose. I ended up folding Star Jars again, and I really like how I ended up doing them for this year. So these are all my Audible books in this little teacup right here that I currently have on Audible. And I color-coded them with like a little sheet or whatever. I color-coded them so that, well, so like these are the books that I have to get to the first, and then the next batch, and the next batch. And so I've technically drawn out everything for my first batch, and I know I can get through all of that easily in January. And so now it's time to move on to batch 2, which would be these ones. I think that's a great one. I don't know. I personally really like reading from TBR jars. I think it's so fun. And I want to be more consistent at that as well. Let me see. To Sir Philip with Love by Julia Quinn. Oh, this is perfect. Okay. So let's find To Sir Philip with Love. Okay, here it is. To Sir Philip with Love. And that is 10 hours long. Oh. Oh, I'm really excited. I think this is one of the last ones performed by Lisa Kleypas, though. Not Lisa Kleypas, why did I say that? By Rosalind Landor, though. And I don't think she, like, narrates the rest of the series, which, like, super bums me out. Let me see. Yeah, it's Simon Preble for 6, 7, and 8, which I might end up physically reading if I don't love it. But I think they're all part of the romance package, so when I finish To Sir Philip with Love, I can just read the rest on the romance package, which is fantastic. I think this will be a nice break in between after Clan of the Cave Bear, which is like long and everything. It will be nice to read something short and fun. Did I say it was 10 hours long? I did say it was 10 hours long. Wait, Kitty, I don't know if I knew that you had a blog. What is your blog handle? I'm gonna write that down. Because I love seeing what people's reading plans are. I wonder where Chris put the tax. Wow. Yeah, the tax. Because I kind of want to tack this over. Or maybe I'll just set this cup on it. There we go. That should be better. The sun is peeking through right there. The sun is like literally coming in through this window horrendously right now. I forgot how terrible it is to live stream at this time of day. And so Chris came in and tacked up like a black blanket right here. It's not a blanket. It's like actually like a big shawl thing. So it doesn't cover the entire window. So I just needed to pull it over so I didn't get shown in the face. Okay. I think that's gonna be so fun, Elizabeth. Ugh, I love stuff like that. Okay. Okay, that's perfect. So that's like my monthly goals, and then anything else is just the icing on top. I'm actually going to go through and shorten these. I want it more compact because everything is like taking up way too much space. And I can expand these if the other books that I want to read are longer. Longer titles, I mean. And I am still breaking down like my monthly goal and my weekly goals into like, well, if I listen to 5 hours a day, and this was my general thing, 5 hours a day and then 10 hours on the weekend, which like sometimes I can't do 5 hours a day, especially with Christopher's gonna be live streaming every night and stuff. Like I'm not gonna be able to keep up with that. but on the weekends I can more than make up for it. You have your pen and paper out right now. I mean, so do I. And I do like planning on paper, but since I haven't been able to find like a calendar that I like for a month at a, like for 2019. I looked so many times and I just couldn't find anything that works for me. I'm like, I'll do this part digitally and then I can transfer like a week at a time into like my weekly calendar that I have. But I couldn't find any monthly layouts that I like. Okay, I'll go look at that. Holy cow. I don't think I knew that you had a blog either, Elizabeth. I mean, it makes sense, and I've definitely, like, seen your stuff on, like, Goodreads, but it makes sense, because that's how you have all those NetGalley books. Okay. Oh, and I only have Sunday the 20th written out, so then I can go Monday 21st, Tuesday 22nd, Tuesday. Do you like that? Wow. Tuesday 22nd. Oh my gosh. I can't do anything. Saturday the 26th, Sunday the 27th, Monday 28th, Tuesday 29th, Wednesday the 30th. Oh, not the 20th, the 30th. And then Thursday the 31st, Friday the 1st, Saturday the 2nd, Sunday. Ooh, I really like it starting on Friday because that means that I will probably get a ton of reading done right at the beginning of like the first few days of the month, which will feel really nice. Oh, hi Judith. You fell asleep. Nice. Midday naps. Oh gosh. That's not what I wanted to do. Go back over. I have that song from Kingdom Hearts stuck in my head from last night. Yeah, I still like start my week with like the Monday, but I get most of my Friday is my day off. Friday and Sundays are my day off, so those are the days that I get so much reading done. And I mean, I can usually easily hit like my 5 hour per day goal, but since Chris is live streaming, I'm going to be spending like 2 to 3 hours every night on that, not including this week. I'll be spending like 4 hours on that. I'm not staying up and watching the whole live stream for the first one because I can't. I have work the next day. I don't have to go into work until 9 or until 10 tomorrow though, which is nice. I get like an extra hour to sleep in. So Sir Philip with Love is the next one. What's going to be after that? Because I still have so many more Audible books I can fit in this month. Oh, I already read this book. When I made this TBR jar a week or two ago, I hadn't made this yet. I haven't read this yet, but I have read it now. The Other Miss Bridgerton by Julia Quinn. Another Julia Quinn book, and I've already read it, so it's off the list. Yay! Good job, another one's gone. What's next? Oh, okay. It'll be nice to fit some short books in as well, because it'll make me feel accomplished, like I read so many for the first month. So that is... Where is it? Oh, maybe it's on the next list. I should stick 50 per page, and then I don't have to just mess around like this for as much. Here we go. Here it is. Murder on the Ballarat Train by Carrie Greenwood, and it's 5 hours long. It's so nice when you can finish a book in a day or two. You make that look so easy. If you try that on your laptop, you make mistakes. I can't do stuff like this on my phone. It's too hard. Much too hard for me. Okay, so that means I need to draw like at least 2 more of these. Ooh, and I was just like, oh good, a short book, a fun book, an easy book. This is not a short book. I think this one's 20 hours as well. The Time in Between by Kristen Ashley. I think I bought that later. I don't know, maybe not. Oh, it's right there. It's literally right there. The Time in Between. Yeah, it's 19 hours. It's a chunker. I think this is going to be one of the last for the month then. And these books are like emotionally draining for me to read. So, honestly, I'm saying that this is like, oh, I'm going to read 3 hours a day. This is a book that I will probably push off till Friday and then read the whole thing in one day, because that's how I tend to read the books in this series. Like, that's how I read the first book in the series, and that's how I'm probably going to read, and that's how I read the second, and this is how I'm going to read the third. And this ties in as well with the fact that I want to finish a series once a week, essentially. Because this is the end of the series, so I can take that into account by planning it this way and go, well, I will have completed a series this week by reading this book, and so I don't have to draw an extra series to complete that week, and I could just read other things for fun, which is good stuff. Oh my gosh, Judith, my mind is so dead right now. I'm so tired. Ugh. I feel super fuzzy. So I'm sorry if this live stream is like less than stellar. You weren't sure how to answer what question? Wait, what? Did I miss something? I feel like I'm missing something. You didn't like the White Headhunter. Like, it doesn't sound like it would be up my alley. Oh my gosh, yeah. No, it's fine. I woke up this morning at like 10 and I'm like, heck no. I'm not getting up at 10. I am not. I refuse. And I made myself go back to sleep. And then I woke up and it was like 1:30 and I'm like, better. Better. Judith and I were up like hecka late last night talking. And now my brain is like, why would you do that? It's fine though. The only people who heard me say noon was like Austin, who doesn't come to my live streams anyway, Judith, and Liz. And Liz is here, so obviously she figured out I wasn't streaming at noon. Yes. Okay. That means I can fit another book or two in. Alright. What's next? What's next on the list? Exciting, exciting. This is so exciting. Okay. Please be something fun. I mean, and that's the nice thing about doing this Audible challenge as well, is that, like, I am genuinely excited to read everything on here, but some of them, like, take some time for me to, like, hype up to, and so I'm like, okay, this is perfect. I feel like, okay, apparently January is going to be my month of sci-fi. I'm reading The Collapsing Empire. I'm reading The Left Hand of Darkness. I'm reading Wool by Hugh Howey. It's all the sci-fi. I can do it. I can do it. Wool is 18 hours long. 2 really long ones in a row. It's okay. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. I don't know what happened to the space in this one. There it is now. And fix that centering. There we go. You were waiting on bated breath. I'm so sorry. I was like, I almost thought about setting an alarm to like try to get up and do it at noon, and I was just like, my body needs to sleep. Fate is giving you a month of sci-fi. Me last year buying all these sci-fi books is giving me a month of sci-fi. Which is not my intention at all, but it's fine. Okay, so that's like my general goal. So I kind of want to give me a minute, and I'm going to write all of these books down so I can know what my January TBR for sure is. Okay. So, I'm going to be reading I'm going to finish reading The Secret Keeper. The Collapsing Empire. Mine Till Midnight, which I've already started, but I'll be finishing, or I'll be DNFing. I'm not sure. I'm not super in love with it yet. Left Hand of Darkness. An Extraordinary Union. Clan of the Cave Bear. To Sir Philip with Love. Which I'm super excited. I'm glad this is pushing me to finally pick it up because it's been too long. So Murder on the Ballarat Train. I'm very apprehensive about reading that book because I hated the last one so much. The Time in Between. And then Wool. Perfect. So those are all the books that I'm reading through from Audible in January, apparently. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 books off the list. I think that's pretty good, especially since 3 of them were really long. And then the rest are just average sized, and then one short one. Okay. So that's my plan. And then, so basically what I did here is I really want to finish this in the first, like, couple days of the year. So The Secret Keeper, instead of these 6 ones being over here for 3 and 3, I just cram them all into, like, the first 3 days of the week. And then I'm giving myself, I don't have to read as much on Friday and Sunday. So that's how I've decided to do that. But as long as I'm reading it within, like, the week or the month or whatever, it's fine. Everything's fine. It's all good. Okay, so those are my super, super realistic reading goals for the month. And then on top of that, I want to be completing a series. So I already have one series on here that will be completing a series for me, Time in Between. So I really need to just draw... Let me see. I guess I'm going to try to complete 4 more series in January and try to get to 5 in January. Only 1 out of like 150 whatever that was. Not bad. Well, you can... You now have a lot more options, to say the least. Okay, I'm gonna go fill up my water. I'll be right back. 'Cause I'm so thirsty. The Time in Between, and then I also have, so the Time in Between, how long is that? Okay, so I already have that planned out, the Time in Between, and then I have the Trials of Morgan Crow. My library is getting it tomorrow, so I'll have that tomorrow. Trials of Morgan Crow. It's not the Trials of Morgan Crow. It's the other one. It's Nevermore, whatever it's called. Jessica Townsend. Wondersmith. The Calling of Morgan Crow. So that is 12 hours long. I'm going to be... It said it came out 2 weeks ago, but through my library it says it comes out on the 31st. So I'll be getting that tomorrow. No. Sometimes you've got to wonder how some books get published. Okay, so there's that book, which I know for sure I'll be getting to. So I'm doing a similar thing with series as I am with Audible books, is I have a little TBR teacup here that I have, it's very full because I have so many ongoing series. And basically how I color coded them is that this first color, which you can't really see, there we go. This first color are series that I only have one book left in it. The second color are series that I have 2 books left in the series to read. And so that way, if this is running low, I can just read a ton of the books that I only have 2 left, and then I can like finish more. The third color is series that have 3 or more books left in them to read, that I need to read, but that I haven't read since, I haven't read in the past year. Like, I have not touched that series in 2018. So it was 2017, 2016, 2015 is when I read them, and they really need to get read, like, now. And then the next color are series that have more than 3 or more books left in them, but that I read in 2018. I read the series most recently in 2018, so like I want to get to them, but I want to make sure I get to all my other ones first. And then my last color are books that I have, series that I have made progress on or started in the last like 3 months of the year. Since I really didn't do any reading, there's like literally like 4 books with this color. And any series that I end up making progress on this year, as I make progress on them, I'm going to write them on these red pieces of paper, add them in, and then hopefully I go through all of these enough that I can like start drawing my red ones and like making progress on those. So that's the plan. It's the plan. It's a big plan. It's fine. So I think I've only drawn 1 so far. Let me go through all my colored papers right here. I've only gone through 1 so far. So my colored paper, frick. I can't, no, I'm putting this one back. I can't do this. I can't do it. Apparently the one that I drew that I like totally forgot that I drew before was The Remembrance of Earth's Past by Cixin Liu. Is that how you say his name? Guess what? It's sci-fi. I'm not reading another sci-fi this year. Not this year, this January. I cannot read 5 sci-fis in the same month. It's too much for my brain. This one's going back in the jar. I folded it back up. Goodbye. Oh my gosh. I can't. It's not happening. I don't have the mental power for it. If you get to Nevermore really quickly, Judith, I have the second book on audio that will be checked out for the next 2 weeks if you need it. You always weep at my organization. Yeah, don't show Morgan this. He'll be like, what is wrong with her? Sword Thane. Hello, Sword Thane. I don't recognize your username. Hello, though. Okay, so Disgraceful Dukes. Let me see. Is that not how you spell disgraceful? Nope, there's no E in that for sure. Not no E. What am I missing? Is that how you spell it? I don't know. Well, it popped up. Disgraceful Dukes. Blame It on the Duke, I'm gonna read this month. And I'm not excited about it, but I'm gonna do it. If I hate it, I'll DNF it. But Tantor sent me this for review like a long time ago, and I haven't even tried to read it, so I need to stop being so judgy and try it. Maybe it'll be my favorite book of all time. But I haven't liked anything that this author has written, so that I've read by her. I've read 2 of her other books. I haven't liked either of them. So I will try it. I will be open-minded. I'll give myself an hour to read it, and if I don't like it, then I'll DNF it. But I need to at least try it and not be such a little brat. Oh. Hi, Morgan. I'm just a little book obsessed. Sword Thane, of course. Of course your username is Sword Thane. I need to check which one I've had. I did check out Blame It on the Duke like a week ago, because I started drawing out my TBR stuff like a week ago so that I could like make sure I could get them on hold from the library and stuff. Let me see how many days I have left on it. I have 13 days and I'll have Morgan Crow. So I'm gonna do... Hi, Elizabeth. I'm currently planning out what my base plans for what I want to read in January, based off of the reading goals that I'm setting myself this year. These are my base plans of what I know I can get done realistically. That is like, I definitely would have to like work to do it, but it's not hard and I could easily like double it if I wanted to. And so I'm like planning that out, and then anything else I read is like the icing on top. That's his gamer name too. Lovely. So Blame It on the Duke I have for less amount of time. Should I just go all out? Should I put them all up here? And just try to wham it out in 2 days? And then I'll try to get to... Wondersmith right away. Blame It on the Duke is not a reread. I've tried to read it before. I put it on my TBR list a lot. But I've never actually like started it because I was too apprehensive. But I'm gonna do it. Tantor was super nice. They sent it to me. I need to not be an ungrateful bum, and I need to get on it. Okay, and Remembrance of Earth's Past is going back in the jar, and so that's Morgan Crow, Blame It on the Duke, and Time in Between. So I need to finish 2 more series this month to meet my goal. Let's see what the TBR jar says, but these are likely to get put back in, subject to get put back in if I'm not feeling it. This is doable. I have a lot of goals. My base goals are to read for 45 hours a week, but I'm going to split it up more into a monthly goal, so more like, let's say like roughly 200 hours in a month is like my base goal. To read my Audible books and make those my priority, and to finish series. And those are like my 3 priorities. And that's what I'm really going to try to focus on. And then anything else I do is like extra fun. The Cat Holloway mystery series. So the book that I need to read from the series is a Soupçon of Poison. I don't know if that's how you say that. I don't know. Cat. Oh, is that not how you spell that? Is it Holloway? Not Holloway? Okay, there we go. A Soupçon of Poison. So I've read the first 2 books and I love them. This was a 0.5 that came out like a long time ago, and it doesn't exist on audio, which makes me so sad. It's only an ebook. But it's tiny. It's only 90 pages. So I could probably finish this. I mean, I'm a very slow physical reader, so I could probably finish it in 3 hours. So I'm gonna just give myself 4 hours to be safe, I think. But I'll put this on my list and I'll try to get to it. And finish the series finally. Not finish it, catch up on it, because the next book comes out. Oh, maybe there's no release date for it yet. Why is it not available on audio? The next book probably comes out this year. Okay, I have no idea what these 2 books are. I don't believe that they're actually part of this series, because this is the first time I'm ever seeing them. Death in Kew Gardens. Expected publication date is June. So that's also like a nice thing, is that... Hi, Amber. I'm so glad you're here. What time is your church, by the way? I'm never sure, and I'm never sure like how it correlates to my time zone. One of the books that you're picking up is Anna Karenina. Again, those long books you just have to go through slowly but surely. Your 2019 goals are reading 365 children's picture books, reading 1 book a month from the All the Backlist podcast. I don't know what that podcast is. I will definitely write it down. I'll look it up. And yeah, good luck with Anna Karenina. For sure. All the Backlist podcast. You start at 10:30. What a random time. All the Backlist podcast. Okay. $10:30, $12:30. Okay. Now I'll know when to text you annoyingly. Pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. All the books podcast. Okay. I can always use more bookish podcasts. Podcast. Okay. So the thing about me wanting to catch up on series, or as counting as completing my series, is that if I read a Soupçon of Poison before this book comes out, then that means that I will have like caught up on the series. And then when this book comes out and I catch up on it again, that will be 2 series completed. So I'm for sure want to fit this in before the next book comes out. 100%. I'm so excited for this book to come out. I really enjoy this series a lot. It's, I don't know, Jennifer Ashley, I feel like, is a super underrated author. I don't know, I've read 5 or 6 books by her now, and I've never been disappointed. Like, they're always really fun and just make me like super, I don't know, I just like always feel very like content after reading one of her books. And I always feel like I learned something too. She does like do historical romance, historical mysteries, historical whatever, and I think she does contemporary and urban fantasy as well. I've only touched into her historical stuff, but like I always feel like I learned something about either society or the time period or something, like something that I didn't know before. And I feel like I'm pretty knowledgeable in like England history over the 1800s. Like, I'm pretty knowledgeable, like not a historian or anything, but like for the average Joe, I'm all right. And I always feel like I learned so much. Like, she like really researches and she gives her characters' opinions about things as well, about society at the time and about the monarchy and stuff like that. It's like very interesting. So I enjoy that. They talk about 6 books or so being released that week. Oh, that's a good goal. Yeah. Just keeping up with the new releases. The first book in this series is Death Below Stairs. And then the second book is Death Above Stairs. No, yeah, Scandal Above Stairs. Sorry, Death Below Stairs and then Scandal Above Stairs. And I just like everything I've read by her. A lot. She also wrote the Mackenzies and McBride series. I've read the first 3 of those. And I'm super excited to read the 4th one as well. So, I highly recommend Jennifer Ashley. I'm trying to like give myself the time to listen to long books this year as well. And that's why I'm only setting my reading goal to 100 books. And I'll probably end up surpassing that, but I'm only setting it to 100 because it means that I have time to like read more long books and not like pressure myself. And I only set my reading goal to 100 last year as well, but I ended up going a little ham and surpassing that for sure. Yeah, audio for sure. Way of Kings, still working on Way of Kings. That book. I'm halfway through the Final Empire. I finally started it. It only took me 5 years. I remember What's Her Face, Peru's project, talking about that in like 2014. Now I'm finally getting to it. Hi, Chris. Okay. So I think I'm gonna do this. A soupçon of poison. Actually, I think since I'm just gonna give myself 3 hours to read it. Okay, so this is another thing. I've been thinking about it. So I tend to, as you guys know, I love audiobooks a lot. And I do being generous, 95% of my reading on audiobooks. It's probably much more like 99% of my reading on audiobooks. I love my audiobooks. And I feel like Words of Radiance, nice. Yes, Chris is super happy. We're listening to it together, and he's really, really, really happy. Like, so happy. And we stopped at the worst possible place. What I do while I listen to audiobooks? Sometimes if I'm not feeling great, like my neck really hurts and I just need to lay down, sometimes I just lay there and listen. Or I'll like play games on my phone, or I clean the house. I will do laundry, house chores. I like organizing stuff, and so I'll do that. I like doing reading planning. I love reading planning. Reading planning is like half the fun of reading for me. I love planning and meeting goals, and so I'll like plan while I do it. I don't know. I have the ability to be able to like concentrate on two things at once. I can like listen to an audiobook and read something physically at the same time. Not like a whole story, but like I can, I don't know. Like I was writing, like I was like tweeting out like tweets and stuff like while listening to like Mistborn and stuff. I don't know, so like I can do a lot of stuff, so I will like make lists and like do things and stuff. And then I also will drive while listening to audiobooks. I just like to have something, I don't know, I don't like listening to my own thoughts by themselves. Like I feel like I have to have something going on in the background as well, and it helps me think better. And so I get all my thoughts gathered while listening to books. And so I'll have just something going on all the time while I'm thinking about other stuff. So it's not like really like a time commitment where I have to set it aside and be like, okay, so I'm going to listen to this audiobook and do this thing while I listen to the audiobook. I just have the audiobook going all the time, and then I do everything the rest of my life while listening to the audiobook. That's what I do. Hi, Tamara. I know so many people are here today. I don't feel like I've ever had like 20 people before. I don't know if I've ever watched a conspiracy video. Not my cup of tea. I don't know, and I'm trying to be super realistic about my goals this year, and like set these base goals that I meet, and then anything else is nice, but like I know I can do this, and what I'm doing right now, the stuff that I'm planning right now is not going to be hard for me. Like I can easily meet this. I would have to like put an effort in, but I can still very easily do it. And then any extra reading that I do will be like, good job, you did extra reading. You like doing puzzles while listening? Same. Listen to audiobooks, do coloring books. My sister just got me a dot to dot, like a super intense dot to dot book where there's like 500 stars per page and stuff. So I did that while listening to audiobooks. It's super fun. I don't have life goals. I make it through the day. I make it through work. That's my goal. I don't know. I do have like things that I'm like working on, but I don't know. I love books. Like I love books so much. And that is my life. I mean, besides just working on my marriage and spending time with my husband and making sure we maintain like an awesome relationship, which we do because we just get along and like spending time together and stuff. Besides just doing that, reading is like everything to me pretty much. Reading, and I really like watching, like, creators on YouTube. But, like, besides that, like, I don't really do much. And so reading is where I choose to spend all my time. I also like playing video games while listening to audiobooks. I'll turn it on audiobook if I'm, like, playing Animal Crossing and stuff like that. I really like it. I've done a couple of them so far. And they're very fun. And I don't know, and they're just like other things, like I don't write them down necessarily. I feel like writing down goals that aren't like reading related just doesn't work for me. I've tried it in the past and it just like makes me feel anxious and I don't like it. But like I do like want to work on like continuing to like build relationships with my family and stuff like that. But overall, just like spend time with Chris and read books, and those are my goals. And keep going through work. How long does a page normally take for me to read? I have literally no idea. Genuinely none. But I do have a couple physical books on my TBR. So I'm doing the TBR challenge with Kara over at Wild Book Garden this year. We each gave each other a list of 10 books that for the other person to read because we have very similar reading tastes. And I just want to spend more time reading books that I love. And so I'm like, I was thinking about it and I'm like, out of like everyone, I feel like Kara could most easily give me a list of books that I'm almost guaranteed to love. It also doesn't help that, it also doesn't help. It also does help that I asked her for a list of books and she gave it to me, but one of the books she put on the list, I was like, oh, I'm actually planning on reading that this week already. This was a few weeks ago. And I read it, and it was like probably in my top, like, 3 favorite, like, fiction books of the year. Blew my mind, loved it. I still, like, I'm thinking about it, like, on a daily basis still. Like, about, like, how much I loved the characters and the plot and everything about it. So, like, she does. She can pick out books for me really well. And I, like, told her, I'm like, okay, you gotta pick out another one because I already read it. And that's supposed to be for 2019. But she did stick, like, 4 physical books on the list. So there's at least 4 physical books that I will be getting to this year. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. And Chris and I should get out and do more stuff. We don't, though. We spend time at home all the time. We're just too tired to go out. Oh, that's so cool. That sounds so fun. Yeah, I have no idea how long a page takes for me to read, though. But maybe I will see that more. Yes, one more goal. Well, I mean, you have to come visit me. If you come visit me, I will spend time with you. Sounds like a great goal, though. Oh, wait, no, I'm going out there in June? Is that when we're doing that? I need to talk to Mom and see, like, when our Bradley reunion is supposed to be, because we need to buy tickets, because they're gonna get expensive if we don't get on that. So I'll see you twice this year, hopefully. We do go book shopping sometimes. It's true. I can't deny. Okay, so Wondersmith. Cat Holloway, a soupçon of poison. Time in between. Was there another book on my list? Oh, the Duke one. What was the Duke one? We Met on the Duke. Okay, Blame It on the Duke, and then I just have to choose one more sequel to read, and I will have 5 sequels for the, not sequels, series completions to read for the month, and that will be all of them that I need to get to. Oh, this will be fun. Okay, this is perfect. So the next one I chose is Not Wanting to Come Unfurled. It's fine. Have Sword Will Travel by Garth Nix and Sean Williams. I really liked Have Sword Will Travel, so I'm super excited to read book 2. Let Sleeping Giants Lie. I would have to buy this one on Audible because none of the libraries own it. I will double check them all before I buy it, but that's fine. Okay, these need to be expanded a bit then. I'm super excited to read this. This is going to be so much fun. How long was it? 7 hours long? So in my area, through like the digital networks in my area, there's 3 that I have access to, which is really nice. But then I also have family in Florida, in Utah, in Colorado, and California, and Indiana. So I have library cards from all of those places. And then I also have a friend in Kentucky. Is that right? No, not Kentucky. Why would I say that? It's not Kentucky. It starts with a K. Why am I sucking so much? Not Kentucky. Why would I say that? I don't think she actually lives out there anymore either. I think she just has the library card still. Kansas. There we go. Kansas, not Kentucky. I was like, Kentucky, as soon as I said it, I'm like, that's so wrong. And Kansas. So I have like 7 libraries from access to, from like all over the country. So yeah. And so we all like exchange library cards, and I'll like give them my library cards, they'll give me theirs. And then also on top of that, one of the libraries in my area is doing this like exchange with other libraries in the area. They were like, oh, you can use your library card to access the digital systems of 4 other libraries. So I have so many library cards. Literally like 20. So I need to like double check them all. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so only 14. But it's a lot. And I love having so many libraries. Yeah. So it takes a while though to check everything. Yeah, see if they have a good selection, do this for sure. I have Quiver of Cobras on Hoopla. Hi Lizzie, how are you doing? Okay, so Let Sleeping Giants Lie is my last one. Is that right? Not giants. Dragons. That's a little bit different. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh, I have so much time left. 25. I don't even remember where I'm at. 30. I have about 60 hours left in the month that I can read left over after I've completed my top 2 goals. Trying to finish all the books by midnight tomorrow. Yeah, I feel you on that. I'm gonna read like 30 children's picture books today. Because I'm a garbage human. It's fine. I'm gonna have a reading party tonight. For sure. So I still have like 60 hours left, so that's like 5-ish books that I can still read in the month. If we're just looking at it like by hour basis-ish. Let me figure out what those are going to be in a second. I'm just going to go to the restroom. And I already have a lot of stuff on my list, so I'm going to tell you like some of my other overall arching goals for the month then when I come back after this short interlude. Okay. You have 2 more to read. Children's books are just the best, though. You're trying not to start a book till the 1st. Oh my gosh. So basically how I'm considering, I'm just counting the 31st as January 1st for me, like in my mind. Like, it's a Monday, it's the start of the week, whatever. I don't think I'll finish anything on that day because that's the day that Chris is doing a 6-hour live stream. But I am going to count that as like my start of the week, and so that's when I'm really starting my goals for like 2019 is tomorrow. So I'm gonna try to finish off like a couple more books tonight. I think I have like 2 real books, like 2 like actual novels to finish. I'm like 75% of the way through Equal Rights by Terry Pratchett, and I think it's gonna make it into my top like 3 books of the year. I love it so much. It's ridiculous. It's phenomenal. Oh, Judith, what I meant to say, I hope you're here. Judith, are you here? Can I give this big exclamation? Are you here? You read 2 of the Baby Lit books since I was talking about them. I love them. Aren't they so cute? Oh, they're just adorable. Okay, so Judith, what I was trying to say about Mark Oshiro, I don't know if I ever ended up actually finishing. Oh, yeah, I did. So, yeah, so he reads all the Discworld books. out loud on his channel, and he reads them to you, and I love his commentary. Let's see. Let's go to YouTube. So this is him, and he ended up writing that book, Anger is a Gift. And it's really cool that he got published and stuff. I don't know if I really have a super high interest in reading this book just because it's young adult contemporary. And it's not like really my thing. But he has been reading all these books, and he still posts videos like all the time of him reading. Oh, Wintersmith. What the F is Wintersmith? Anyway, so he's done it for a lot of the Discworld books. He's done it for the whole, like, So You Want to Be a Wizard series. And stuff, so. Okay, so he has this, and this is his schedule for 2019 of what he's doing and stuff, and he has like a list of what he's currently reading. So Mark reads the Discworld, and so these are like the most recent ones he's done. And so Color of Magic, The Light Fantastic, Equal Rights, Mort, which I think is the first book in the let's see, Goodreads. I'm definitely going to finish this today. There's no way I'm not going to finish it today. Yeah, he reads the entire book, and then he basically people commission him to read them. So he like gets paid for reading them out loud. And there are okay, so there's 41 books in the Discworld series, not including novellas. And then if you... Oh, I guess on Goodreads it doesn't show you the actual, like, sub-things, but over here it will. So, like, the Witches series, the Rincewind series. I love Rincewind. Industrial Revolution, Tiffany Aching. And so there's, like, all these sub-series. The Death series. And so these are... If you want to just read the Witches books that are all connected, you can read Equal Rights, Weird Sisters, Witches Abroad, Lords and Ladies, Masquerade, etc., and all these little ones. And then within that, within Discworld, you can also read the Rincewind books, which Color of Magic and the Light Fantastic, Sorcery, Eric, etc., and stuff. And so you can read them in the subsets, and I know a lot of people do that, and they're like, just start wherever. It doesn't really matter. Like, start at the beginning of this series or the beginning of this series. But I would rather go through chronologically, and that's how Mark's been doing it. And so he's done a lot. He's almost done with the series. Wintersmith is part of Discworld. Okay. So he's almost done. There's so many, but it's so amazing, and I love watching him read them. And I guess he reads some of the novellas as well, which is awesome. So, and he did, yeah, the whole So You Want to Be a Wizard series, which is ridiculous. So many. And then he's done a ton of other books as well. He's done it for the Enchanted Forest Chronicles. He's done a ton. So many books. He did most of the everything by like Tamara Pierce pretty much, which is really cool. So anyway, I recommend. I like him a lot. And I've been watching him for a few years. And he doesn't have his playlists set up super well. He actually has terrible playlists. So if I ever want to find something by him, I will like literally type in Mark Reads, and then I'll type in, or Mark Oshiro, and then I'll type in like equal rights. And then somebody else has made a playlist, and then I'll just like click on that and watch through them that way. So, anyway. Giselle's recommendation of the day. Go watch Mark read you Discworld, and you will love your life. So, Romanceopoly. Romanceopoly is... Oh, gosh, did I spell that wrong? Oh, I did. I totally did. Romanceopoly.com. There we go. There we go. Romanceopoly is pretty much the best thing in the entire world. It is run by the Under the Covers book blog, and, oh gosh, I'm forgetting her name. What's her name? Jess from Peace Loves Books. And they together they made this thing. Oh, I guess I could register. I should probably do that when I have a sec. Go in and register. Okay, so they have this thing where they made a Monopoly board. But it's romance, and it's awesome, and I'm gonna go through it starting here and just like rolling dice and going around and seeing what I land on. Another phenomenal thing about Romanceopoly... Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Abort. Another thing I wanted to do... Another thing that I really love about Romanceopoly is that they ended up coming up with like a phenomenal recommendation list as well. So for each like little subgenre that they have recommendations. So if you want to read a new adult book set in college, which is one of the prompts, you click on it and they'll give you all of these books that are new adult books set at college. And they do that with all of them. And they have recommendations for everyone. Read a sweet or small town contemporary romance. This is their recommendation. It's full of sweet or small town contemporary romances. So you can click on it and I'll be like, oh, for this challenge, I could totally count the Magdalene books. I'm going to be reading one of those this month with, oh gosh, The Time in Between, or Dear Erin. I really want to read some more Mariana Zapata. So like, I can see that some of these are already on my list, which is really nice. It's so great. I love what they're doing with this, and I want to continue on with this series by Kristen Ashley as well. So pretty much it's like the best thing ever. I'm gonna do the rolling around the board thing because I think it's really fun. Except for I technically did a roll already like a week ago. I was like, I'm gonna do my roll so I can set up and start planning my first like week, and I'm gonna try to do like one a week. Roll once a week and stick those books on my list and try to like start getting to them. But I forgot that Monopoly, you have to roll 2 dice and not just one. For some reason I was just like, oh, I rolled a dice, and so I did it, and I landed on like Kick-Ass Lane, which is only, I mean, technically I could have gone if I had like gotten like a 2 and a 1, but I'm gonna count it still because I already have that book. I like checked out my book for that, which is the next book in the Mercyverse for me, which will be Moon Called by Patricia Briggs, which is the next book in my Mercyverse reading. If you want to start reading anything, any of like the Mercy Thompson books, a lady recommended that I check this out, that I'm friends with. on Goodreads, and so I did, and there's like this huge line of like when you should read them in relation to each other. So I didn't read this one or this one or this one. Like these first few I didn't see. They're all like short stories, and I started at Moon Called because I was like, oh, the first book, I'll start there. And then somebody was like, you should read, so Mercy Thompson and this book, Cry Wolf, are from 2 different series, but apparently they like line up and like connect with each other and all this stuff. Apparently Mercy Thompson is a very involved author. But since I've already read Moon Called and I liked it, I'm like, well, now I want to read, like, I want to be a completionist. So I just decided to start where I was. Like, I'm not going to go back and read all these short stories and all that. I'm like, no, I will go back and read them later if I want to. So Moon Called, I read Alpha and Omega this year. And then Cry Wolf was my next one on the list. And so Badass Lane is to read a book with a urban fantasy with a picture of a kick-ass heroine on the cover. So since that counts, I think that's literally one of the ones they recommended was Moon Called. No, it wasn't. Oh, no, it was. Okay, not Moon Called. Cry Wolf. That's what it's called. Was I calling it Moon Called? Whatever. Cry Wolf by Patricia Briggs. So that also counts for like continuing on in series. So it counts for like 10 different things for me. So I'm going to read that. Cry Wolf. So that's definitely one of the books I want to get to this month. But now for the rest of for the rest of Romanceopoly, I need to actually roll 2 dice. We don't actually own any dice, Christopher and I. So good thing random.org dice roller is nice. Roll 2 virtual dice. Perfect, 6. So my next one is 6, which means I will be going from Kick-Ass Lane to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Women's Avenue. Women's Avenue, women's fiction. Read a women's fiction novel. Their recommendations. I hate this series. I read one of the books in this. I hated it. I don't like this book. So that's not a great sign. Oh, I could read 7 Husbands. And All Your Perfects is on there as well. That's kind of on my list too. I might read All Your Perfects. So I'm going to figure out what book I want to read from this. You have Stray on your TBR. I have a lot of these on my TBR, so I'm going to have to figure out what I want to use. I should read 7 Husbands. Let me see if any of the libraries have it. My sister texted me, sorry. Kristen Higgins, that Kristen Higgins book is pretty good. I heard some really good things and I heard some really bad things. I don't know what I heard that was like wrong. I don't remember, but I remember people being like really offended by this book for some reason. But Kristen Higgins is so like well loved, so it still has like an incredible rating. Let me see. Women's fiction. Let me click on women's fiction and see what the most popular women's fiction books are. Well, I don't really want to read any of these. I mean, I really do want to reread The Help, but that's not happening right now. I don't know. I'll have to find some lists. Oh, you didn't like the Cuba rep. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, 7 husbands. Let's look it up. 7 husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Oh, it's available to borrow right now. Okay, so yeah, I can add that one to my list, I guess. Oh, hi, Anita. Hi. I was watching your goals video. I think it's hilarious and amazing that, so basically Anita, you're always usually asleep. That's why I tried to do it at like a little bit of a different time. So if any of you guys didn't watch Anita's goals video, one of her goals for the year, which I think is amazing, is she wrote down all the books from Lala-a-thon because she didn't really have time to like participate in Lala-a-thon. So she wrote down all the books from Lala-a-thon, and her goal is to like read through all of Lala from Books and Lala's list. And I think it's amazing. So she's gonna choose like one a week or something like that, and like try to go through Lala's favorite books, which I think is incredible. If you haven't, I was thinking, I'm like, if you haven't tweeted her yet and told her that's one of your year goals, I'm going to, because I think it's amazing, and she needs to know that someone is doing that. That's like one of their year goals, is to like read Lala. I mean, I don't think Lala and I have like any taste in that's similar, like, at all. So it's not necessarily for me, but I think it's incredible, and I really love Lala. She's like probably legit like my favorite booktube channel of all time. I just love watching her channel, even though I don't care about anything that she is reading. I couldn't care less, will never read it myself, but like love watching her and love hearing her opinions, even though they are not applicable to me whatsoever. The book with the signs on it. Oh, this one. Now that you mention it. It just made me apprehensive, but there was not necessarily, like, I don't know. Like, I haven't read anything by Kristen Higgins. I've never read a Kristen Higgins before. I guess I could always read something by Sophie Kinsella as well. Honestly, I read almost every Sophie Kinsella book, but I read them when I was like 14, 15. I don't think they were appropriate for me to be reading at that time, and I didn't put them on Goodreads because I didn't want my mom to see that I was reading Sophie Kinsella, which, like, as far as like romance goes, like, that's not like a huge deal. But like, there were some scenes that I was just like really like didn't think I was supposed to be reading, but like I really enjoyed her books and I wanted to keep reading them, so I never put them on Goodreads because I like didn't want my mom to be like, "You're reading this? What? No." So I never put them on Goodreads, and I don't feel comfortable reading them now because they were so long ago that I read them. The only book I read by Sophie Kinsella since starting booktube. Well, I tried to read that one about the lady and her husband and whatever. I didn't like that one. But I did reread 20s Girl. It was interesting. I love her personality. She's great. 1 a month. Okay, not 1 a week. 1 a month. Slowly but surely. If you can remember the name, it was too small on your phone to read the title. Sorry. I have read the Undomestic Goddess. Like I said, I've read almost every Sophie Kinsella book that isn't part of the Shopaholic series. So I could always reread one of these as well. Ooh, I really want to read this one as well. Size 12 is not fat. I've heard such good things about it. I could reread Attachments. Honestly, I might just do that instead. And I really, really liked Bet Me by Jennifer Cruzy a lot. I don't know. So there's a lot that I could read for this one. But the really appealing thing about The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is that it's a standalone. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I'm going to be reading, what was it, Cry Wolf? Yeah, Cry Wolf. And yeah, I might as well just choose my other two right now. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sweet Street. Oh no. Oh! Perfect. Okay, so that one I already have crossed off. The time in between counts as Sweet Treat. Okay, perfect. This is working out great. And then I can roll once more. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, that's not one of the applicable ones right now. I was thinking that every time, I'm not going to do no Instagram challenge, whatever. What's this one? Cafe, what? Cafe Nook. It's the post a pic of your reading Nook using Romanceopoly Nook during this time period. I'm not going to do that. I don't use Instagram. I don't take pictures, whatever. So I was thinking every time I come across one of those, I better be writing down which squares I'm landing on, otherwise I will forget. So I landed on Kick-Ass Lane. I landed on Women's Avenue. I landed on Sweet Street. And I landed on Cafe Nook. Okay, so I was thinking that it's not something that I'm going to focus on currently. Like, I'm still super glad I have those, and I'm definitely going to, like, go through them at some point, but I don't want to go through them if it makes it feel like a chore. And I feel like right now with, like, me really wanting to, like, finish series and work on my Audible books and do, like, year-long, like, challenges. But I was thinking maybe over the summer I might, like, go more ham on them, is what my thought process is. If that makes sense. I just don't want to feel, like, bogged down by it, but I still want to do them. You need a better system for next year. I love reading tracking. It's the best thing ever. So I was thinking, since I'm not going to end up doing any of the Instagram challenges or anything like that, I'm thinking that I will instead, whenever I land on one of these, like, monthly whatevers, not monthly, quarterly whatevers, I'm just going to choose, it's going to be, like, a freebie. So, like, read a romance book of your choice. Romanceopoly is such a good thing. I love it. This is great. So I think I'm just going to do a free choice. And so since I have all these other, I have Mine Until Midnight, that's a romance book, An Extraordinary Union, To Sir Philip with Love, The Duke, whatever, To Blame a Duke, Blame It on the Duke, I don't know. Since I have, like, 5 other romance books on my TBR for the month, I'm just going to call it, like, completed if I read any of those. So freebie. Freebie. be. Okay, there we go. There's my first 4 Romanceopoly rolls. Let me see. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Technically, I should do a 5th one because most of the last week, since there's like almost like full 5 weeks in this month. So I think I'm actually going to do one more roll and see where that lands us. 7. I was on Cafe Nook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. London Street. Ooh, what is London Street? London Street. Steampunk! Read a steampunk romance or a steampunk novel. Oh, yay! I personally would not consider Cinder steampunk, in my opinion. Okay, this is perfect. So I'm going to read, for that challenge, I'm going to read Heartless. Let me make sure that's the right one before I say that. Heartless by Gail Carriger. This is the 4th book in the Parasol Protectorate series. I've read like the first like hour or 2 of it on audio, but I didn't actually end up, what was that? London Lane? London Lane. Excuse me. London Street. Yeah, I love mooching off of other people's creativity. It's my favorite. So Heartless is the 4th book in the Parasol Protectorate series. And if I read this, there's only 2 books left in the series that I have to read. And if I read this, then that means I can add the last book into my complete a series list. Where I only have 1 book left to read that series. So that's one that is like super perfect to get to as well. I wonder, I think I'm a couple hours in, but I'm not going to like hold that against myself. I'm just going to read from the point that I'm at. Since I read it in December, the couple hours that I read, I'm like, I really wanted to get to this book, but then didn't have time to finish it. Let's see, Heartless. I have 9 hours of the audiobook left. I'm 2 hours in and have 9 hours left. So that's fine. I will just start from that 2-hour point. Okay. 7 Husbands, Women's Avenue, Sunset Street. Okay. So that added 7 Husbands, Cry Wolf, Heartless. I think at about 10 hours each. How long is Cry Wolf? It's 10 hours exactly, and 7 Husbands. 7 Husbands. Oh my gosh. Is 12 hours. So I've added about 32-ish hours, 31-ish hours to my list. So I still have like 2 more books that I could read pretty much in the month. Hi! I loved Solace, but I haven't loved the rest of the series as much. I still really like it, but I haven't loved them. Hi, Melody. So I can't believe there's 20 people here. This is ridiculous. I should just name every live stream reading goals. So I still have like 2 more books that I can add. And now I'm going to talk about like my final 2 challenges for the year. I have them out there, so I have stars for them as well. But my final 2 challenges. Okay, so one of them is reading Kara's favorite books. They're not necessarily Kara's favorite books, but it's books that she really loves that she thinks I would also love. So they are her favorites, but they're not like necessarily like her top 10 of all time. It's just like books that she loves that she thinks that I will love too. So reading Kara's favorite books, working on your bullet journal for 2019. I need to do that. I need to draw out everything tonight and tomorrow for... Maybe I'll do that while watching Christopher's live stream. That would be a really good thing to do. I want to set up... I have a lot of like things that I want to set up and in like a new bujo. So I'm going to do that. All right. Thank you for stopping in, Lizzie. Happy reading to you as well. Good luck finishing your 3 or 4 books. You can do it. Of course you can do it. You're a beast when it comes to reading. So my other 2 challenges for the year, besides... He's streaming on Twitch. It's Rhodes Plays. Rhodes Plays? Rhodes Plays, I think. Or Rhodes Play. Rhodes Plays. Rhodes Plays. On Twitch. And he's starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. So, my other 2, besides reading Kara's favorite books, and I'm not going to read one this month because I just don't have the time. I don't know. This month, I feel like I will mostly focus on them when I get some other... When I get some other books read, like most of my Audible books and stuff. When those are done, I'll focus more on Kara's. Because there's 10, and so I can read, like, even if I end up reading, like, 2 a month for, like, 5 months, that's fine, or whatever. I could read them all in 1 month if I want. So I'm not going to focus on Kara's right now, but I do have them all written down on, like, pieces of paper for a star jar. And then my other 2 that I'm working on, I think I'm going to have a buddy read with a friend of The Masqueraders by Georgette Hare, which I'm super excited to read. And then my other 2 that I'm doing, other 3, I have a lot of things that I'm going on. I really have to go to the bathroom and get more water. I'll be back and then I'll explain my other challenges that I'm doing. They're not like 100% priorities. If I don't finish them, it's not like the end of the world. But there's stuff I would like to work on. Okay. Oh, awesome. I'm so glad you're going to be coming. He feels like nobody's going to watch at all. And I'm like, honey, people are going to want to watch you. And he's like, no, no one's gonna want to watch me. And I'm like, yeah, they will. They definitely will. Because you're awesome. I just reread Frankenstein. I'm not a huge fan. Oh, well, I appreciate that you are putting my live streams above your social media ban. It makes me feel very loved. Thank you. So my other two, like, major things that I'm working on this year, besides, like, the Wild Book Garden reading or whatever, are two book bingos. One of them I made up myself, and one of them is somebody else's. So the one that is somebody else's is the let me scoot in a little bit more. Okay, so Retelling book bingo. Oh gosh, I can't spell. Is this it? No, not YA Retelling bingo. Where is it? Oh, why can't I tell it? See it? What? There we go. Here it is. I don't know why I couldn't find that. 2019 Retelling Reading Challenge. If you want to find this, this is where it's at. It's from cornerfolds.com, a mostly YA book blog. And they have a list of 25 prompts, well, 24 plus a free space of retellings to read. And they also have a book, a Goodreads thing as well, if you want to get ideas, because some of these are pretty hard. You'll be bringing your headphones. That's so cute. It's a really good game, honestly. So I think it's worth it. It's totally worth it. And you'll be able to watch them after the fact as well. So Retelling Book Bingo, I'm basically have put all 25 prompts in a TBR cup as little stars, and I'm going to draw out 2 a month and try to get to them. If I feel overwhelmed one month, I'll push it, and then I might like focus on it more during the summer once I finish with my Audible book, since Audible's only going to be for the first like 5 months of the year, and then I can like focus on stuff more later. And so here's their like list or whatever. I think they did have it written down on the list. Maybe not. Maybe I pulled it from somewhere else, but there are all of them. And so I wrote them down, and I also wrote down, I have a specific book that I want to read for each one of them. It's all subject to change. If I substitute another book, that's fine, but I do have like a list written down of specific books that I want to read this year anyway, that will count. And some of them, since this also is a good crossover, since some of them are books Kara really, really likes retellings. And so like 3 or 4 of the books that she gave me were retellings or count for this challenge. And then there's also a couple that she didn't give me on the list, but like I specifically put on my retellings book bingo as like books that I could read for it, because I know that they're some of her favorites, so like I kind of want to just try to read them anyway. Stuff like Circe by Madeleine L'Engle. That is so wrong. What is her name? Wow, I can't believe I just said that. That's the person that wrote the Time Quintet. Is her name? What is her name? I feel like it's such a horrible, stupid person right now. Circe. by Madeline Miller. There we go. My word. Madeline Miller, thank you. I'm so used to saying Madeline Lingle. Oh, that's embarrassing. Okay. Don't send important things to me on Facebook. Same. That's really cool. And the prompts aren't like 100%. I thought about going through and adding in my own prompts instead and like altering it, but I don't know. Overall, actually, they will get me to read certain things. And every book on the list that I put is something that I'm actually really, really looking forward to reading, that like I already really wanted to try to get to this year, except for two, three, except for 3 of them. And there are things that I do want to read. I just necessarily wasn't thinking I want to read that this year. So everything's already on my list. So it will be a good way to like push me to picking them all up. And I already have my 2 drawn out for the month, because this month is the Sherlock Holmes reading month, hosted by Winks from Winks and Ink, and I really want to do that. So I have 2 Sherlock Holmes retellings that are on this list. One of them counts for set in another country. Where is that one? Set in a foreign country. So for that, I'm planning on reading The Beekeepers Apprentice by Laurie, because it's a Sherlock Holmes retelling and it's set in another country. It's set in England, I believe. I should probably double check that. I've just been assuming this whole time that it's set in England. It better be set in England. It would be super awkward if it isn't. If I look at it and I'm like, well, frick. Honeybee behavior on the Sussex Downs. Well, since they're talking about Sussex, I'm pretty sure it's England. So, okay, so you mix up names all the time. How do you find all these challenges? Romanceopoly, I know because I watch Jess, and now I'm going to start watching from the Under the Covers book blog as well. Like, I'm going to start watching their channel too. So I knew that one from that one, and then I literally looked up 2019 reading challenges, and somebody had a list, like a master list of a ton of them, and I went through and chose ones that sounded fun to me. Yeah, basically I went through that person's list. Yeah, absolutely, Keisha. You probably do. So for me, I'm going to be reading The Beekeepers Apprentice for that one, because it will count for both. So I like specifically chose it for that one. And then the other thing is I'm going to be rereading The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodoric, because I love that book. This will be my 3rd time reading it in a span of a year and 3 months. I think I read it for the first time in December of, a year and 2 months. So December of 2017. I read it in 2018, and then I'll be reading it again in 2019 at the beginning of the year. So this will be my 3rd time reading it in the span of 13 months. But it's fine. I really, 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 really love The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter, and I'm super excited to reread it. It's gonna be awesome, and that counts for the space of reading gosh, what did I set it for? Award-winning book. I think it won the 2017 Audible, one of their awards. if I look it up, the Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter Award. The Audie Award for Fantasy. Because it's phenomenal. And the narrator is really great as well. I'm pretty sure it's the lady that narrates Howl's Moving Castle. And it's so good. She's so good. I think it's Jenny Sterling. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it's not, and I'm going to be super embarrassed. No, it's Kate Redding. Okay, so it is a different person than I thought. But I really like Kate Redding. I like Kate Redding. I like Jenny Sterling. I like, what's her name? What's her name? The girl that does, like, all of, like, Lisa Kleypas's books and stuff. Rosalind Landor. Like, I have a few. Those are, like, probably, like, my 3 favorite, like, female narrators that are just, like, my go-to that, like, I know if it's narrated by one of them 3, I will really enjoy the narrating experience, and she's one of them. I really like Kate Redding. She also did the Dragon series. What is it called? Oh, she apparently does Brandon Sanderson's books as well. She did that Dragon series, that, like, proper fantasy dragon series. Oh, she did this one as well. So if you want another Sherlock Holmes retelling, you could also read the Sherry Thomas books. She's done a ton, holy cow. And I really enjoy listening to her narration. Yeah, The Natural History of Dragons, The Memoir of Lady Trent. She narrated those as well. I just really like her narration. She's great. Readathon News does have a lot, but these are... Readathon News doesn't usually, like, have, like, year-long challenges, and this lady... And that lady, like, compiles, like, year-long challenges. Or even, like, quarterly challenges and stuff, which Readathon News doesn't, but, like, I really like Readathon News. So, anyway, so those 2 are both Sherlock Holmes retellings. So I'm going to be reading them this month to support Winx and to read some Sherlock Holmesian stuff. So I think that's pretty much everything I will actually be able to fit in the month, like, for my, like, official goals, and then anything else I read as extra. But the other thing that I'm going to be planning on getting to this year, so I have my retelling bingo. There's also a fantasy book bingo for 2019. It's this one, A Dance with Books. And it's not technically a bingo, though, because it's 5 by 4, which I don't know if this really bothers anyone else, but it really bothers me. Like, I'm like, I want it to have that nice, clean lines of bingo. Thank you very much. Readathon guide. Okay. Okay. Well, good night, Anita. Thank you for stopping in. I really appreciate it. Feel better. I'm so sorry. Yeah, definitely go get sleep. And good luck on your reading plans for the year. I'm sure you'll crush them. You've read so many books this year. You got this. So this is more... They do have some, like, genres, but mostly it's just, like, buzzwords or tropes. Magical schools, necromancers, ghosts, matriarchy, whatever. And, like, while it is still, like, a cool challenge, and I am definitely, like, interested, it was more like a jumping off point for my brain to go, well, I don't really care about reading all these specific tropes and fitting these specific tropes in. They also, which is I really love, is that they have a list of things that they recommend for each one, which I love. And they also have a sci-fi one, which I'm not touching sci-fi. I'm already reading so many sci-fi books. I don't need to read a whole bingo board full of them. And then they also... Oh, thank you. Happy New Year's. They also, after you complete your your bingo board, then they give you like a secondary list of prompts. So once you complete all these, then you go on and you try to like complete these, and then if you complete all of them, then you like get like better titles and stuff. Anyway, I don't know, like it wasn't 100% what I was looking for, but it was like a jumping off point in my brain where I'm like, oh, I really want to like expand my like fantasy genre this year, because I can read a lot of like similar stuff that's fantasy and not like read different types of fantasy, especially since, I don't know, like I'm such a fantasy lover. Why have I not read so many different types of genres within fantasy? So I ended up coming up with a list of 25 prompts that are all like fantasy genres. So for example, I have historical fantasy, portal fantasy, high fantasy, low fantasy, urban fantasy, science fantasy, tech fantasy, which I'd consider science more like where like the magic system is like based off of like science and stuff, where like tech fantasy is just like fantasy, but there's also tech. So like Artemis Fowl would be tech fantasy, science fantasy would be like the Earth series by Jemison. So that's why I'm looking at those. Science fantasy, tech fantasy, sword and sorcery, grimdark, gaslamp, steampunk, magical realism, classic, and then I just put generic fantasy, just like fantasy. Like a free space. Alternate universe, fantasy of manners. Alternate universe, I could also do alternate timeline. Either one of those would work. Fantasy of manners, middle grade, Arthurian, a retelling, a graphic novel, a fairy tale-esque book, so not necessarily based off of any fairy tales, but like full of like fairy tale tropes, like almost like a modern fairy tale. So something like that one book with the black cover that came out about a year ago that is about that lady whose grandmother writes fairy tales and stuff, like something like that would work, where it's like fairy tale-esque, but it's not like technically like a retelling of anything or mentioning any real fairy tales. Oh, bye, Elizabeth. Are you leaving too? Happy New Year's. There's even a reading challenge going for 2019 called The Love of Ebooks. That's so funny. And then my last one is, I put dark fantasy originally, but since I have grimdark and dark, I think instead of dark fantasy, I'm going to do Flintlock. I think Flintlock would be really cool since I've never read a Flintlock. And then on top of those 22 that I have picked out, there's 3 more that are just author names that I really want to like, since they have such a huge backlist, I want to just read like one from each of them this year. Make sure I read one from each of them this year. Sanderson, Pratchett, and Butcher. So Brandon Sanderson, Terry Pratchett, and Jim Butcher. I want to like, and by Jim Butcher, I really just mean I really need to read the next book in the Dresden Files books. I really need to. And so I have all of those folded up and in a jar as well. And so those 2 challenges and Kara's challenge are like my like final like legit challenge for the year. So I did pull out 2 of the fantasy ones. I have my 2 fairy tale ones and I have my 2 fantasy ones. One of them is urban fantasy, which I already have covered. I'm going to be reading an urban fantasy this month with Cry Wolf by Patricia Briggs. And then the other one that I pulled out was magical realism. And I think for that, I'm going to read Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. It's very short, and I really love Neil Gaiman, so I feel like it will be super easy for me to get through, and I really love Neil Gaiman. I do want to read more of his books. So that is like my goal, is to read my next, what's his face, Neil Gaiman book, and read Ocean at the End of the Lane, which I think is doable. It's only like 6 hours long. You need to read the first in the Dresden Files. I don't know, my brother, that's his favorite series of all time, the Dresden Files. or one of them, and he loves them so much, and he like reads them on repeat, and he was like, just skip the first 2 and start with book 3. He's like, the first 2 are kind of pointless. Just so, like, I feel like you have to push through the first 2 and like read you have to like get to book 4, and then the rest of the series is incredible. But I'm gonna read them in order, obviously, because I'm not gonna go skipping no books in series. Does he even know who I am? Yeah, don't leave Harry hanging like that. You've been reading Harry Dresden fanfic. Oh gosh. That's really interesting. So it's like just a ton of people telling how much they've read, and then you're trying to reach a certain goal together. Like, so everybody's like, somebody will say like, oh, I'm going to contribute 12,000 pages this year, and somebody else will say, I'm going to contribute 20,000. So you have an overarching goal, and then see how many people can like do that. Is that how that works? That seems super interesting. Ocean at the End of the Lane is fantastic. I'm super excited to read it. I hope I love it. And I know I know your library probably has them all on audio as well, Judith. So, I did get inspired by this fantasy bingo thing, but I really altered it so much. The only challenges that I kept the same were classic fantasy, grimdark, a fairy tale retelling, portal fantasy. So I kept 4 out of the 20 and then added 21 more. So like I was inspired, but it didn't like keep it. I'd rather focus on like genres more than tropes. And I'm gonna become the fairest of them all in my challenge level. Although I kind of want to be just like a warrior princess, so maybe I'll only read 10. Just kidding. I'm gonna get them all. You watch. Excuse me. That was a really big burp. I'm so sorry. I did not feel that coming. Holy cow, that seems like that would be really fun. So you try to meet your own goal, but then sometimes you have to pick up other people's slack. Yeah, everyone who has listened to the Dresden Files is like, you have to listen to them because the narration is so incredible. My brother, yeah, he listens to those. He owns them all on audio, and he listens to them like on repeat. And he's like Giselle. He's like, it's really bad. He's like, I'll get into like months where, he's like, I'll just read that series like 5 times in a couple months. He's like, it's so bad. Just he's like, I need to get better at like reading different things and rereading less. And I'm like, it's fine though, as long as you're reading and enjoying it, like it's okay. You don't have to feel bad about it. Because Chase and I were having this, Chase is my brother. Chase and I were having this conversation about how we need to, he's like, how is you having so many books on your TBR? He's like, I have a lot of books I want to read. He's like, but you have so many books you want to read. How do you, as a reader, not feel guilty about rereading books? And I'm like, and so we had like this whole conversation about it a couple weeks ago, and it's like, I still want to make the time to do that because I love it, and like I want to keep on reading my favorite books, of course, because I love them and stuff, and see if they are still my favorites and stuff. So I'm going, I don't know, I haven't made it like an official goal for the year, but I think in the second half of the year I'm gonna like go through and try to focus on rereading. But I'm gonna try to get my Audible books out of the way first and then focus on rereading next. And I think that's what I'm gonna try to do, is like focus on rereading after like August and like make the like cold, chilly months of the end of the year be like my cozy reread time. Oh frick. What did I do? I ruined everything. It's fine, it's fine. Okay, there we go. So, but I don't know, I think rereading is perfect. R.C. Bray. I think rereading is perfectly fine, and if all you want to do is reread the same book over and over until your ears bleed, that's fine. I think that's great. I feel like Chris really likes R.C. Bray. He has so many books that he's narrated, holy cow. I wish that you could sort this by author. Why can't you sort this by author? Audible, get your crap together. Please. Yes, he did The Martian. Yeah, Chris really likes R.C. Bray, actually. I like him too. I mean, I'm pretty sure The Martian's the only thing I've listened to that he's narrated, but I did like his narration. He really made that book. He really embodied Mark Watney. Okay, and now that I've told you about all my reading stuff that I'm doing, what I'm going to try to get done, and honestly, doing my Audible books every day, doing my sequels every day, my finishing a series every day, or every day, every week, doing my book bingos, and both my book bingos, and everything, and my Romanceopoly. I think I've like only just over budgeted, like more than like the 200 hours I'm trying to get to. I think I'm at like 220 or 30. Totally doable, not including any extra reading I might do. And so something else I want to do that I thought I would mention now, even though I'm not going to really focus on this whatsoever for the first probably half of the year. I think in June is when I'm going to do this, is on Audible. They have, if you're part of the romance package, if you've like ever looked at the romance package before, they have these things. So they have romance categories, they have character types and story themes, and so they have like a list of all these different story themes, character types, and categories. And so they have something they did it last year, because last year was the first year of the Audible romance package, is they had something called like, I don't know, like the Audible romance like challenge or whatever, and they challenged you to read one book from every category for the Audible romance package. Okay, so basically, if you guys remember last year, I ended up doing, from the unapologetic romance readers on Goodreads, I ended up reading from, I think I got all but 3. I think so. So they had like 50 prompts for you to do in the year, and I did like 47. Like I did a lot of them. And I had a lot of fun with it, and it really like pushed me and like made me pick up some interesting books. And so I think, and then mixed with like, Sarah from, she changed her thing, not just romance novels is not her name anymore, it's Steeped in Books, I think is her new name. Last year she did a summer romance book bingo, and this year she's just going to change it to a book bingo, and I was like pretty bummed about that. I'm like, oh, I wish it was like still a romance book bingo, but like I totally get it. But I'm pretty sure that What's-Its-Face, the Ripped Bodice, is going to do their annual summer romance book bingo as well, so I'll still have one book bingo to do over the summer. And then I think in the summer is when I'm really going to concentrate and try to get to a lot of these and just read a ton of like random romance novels from all these different random categories. I want to get to this year 100%. There's 41 categories right here. I want to get to all 41 categories and read one from each of them. But then on top of that, I would really like to delve into the different character types and the story themes as well. I think altogether there is about 60 not 60. I think there's about 100. Yeah, around 160 altogether. There's about 60 in character types, about 60s in story themes, and then about 40 in categories. So together, it's about 160. And if I do that, I think it will just be like a lot of fun and like just delve around. And I definitely won't like read all of those, but just at least doing categories would be super fun for sure. 100% doing categories. And then when I'm feeling like a little bit slumpy or just want to like pick up something fun, do character types and story themes. And I think it'll be really fun and enjoyable. So that's something else that I'm going to be doing, but I'm not really concentrating on it right now. I might try to pick one or two at random. So I did end up, you guys, I'm crazy. This is a new star jar that I made. I love it. The color scheme of this, and it's completely full and it's so pretty. There's one color that stands for the categories. There's one color that stands for character types, and there's one category that stands for story themes. And I think I might choose like two at random every month for categories and like see if I can fit them in, but if I can't, like I don't care. And then and then over the summer, I'm gonna probably go crazy, and it will be so much fun. So that's pretty much my reading plans for the year, for the month. There's a lot on my plate. I would also, ideally, and this is probably not going to be like applicable until I catch up on my Audible books. But ideally, I would also like to be reading one of my stars that are, like, there's 2 left in the series, so I can read one of those and, like, keep replenishing my series that I only have 1 book left in to either catch up or whatever. But I think I'm not going to focus on it for the first few months of the year and really see if I can handle all this, and then if I can handle it and don't feel overwhelmed and feel like this is fine, I've got this, which I totally feel right now. Before I just chose all my stars and laid everything out, I was feeling kind of overwhelmed, and I'm like, how do I think I'm going to get all this done? How? But laying it all out and like planning day by day and knowing I can handle this easily, like super easily. So knowing that, I feel like I'll be able to like add in extra stuff and see. But for now, there's only, I don't know how many I have left of this specific color. Let me dump them out and see. It should keep me tighted for the next 2 months. And then maybe I'll try to do like a month of reading mostly like my ones that I only have 2 left of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I'm seeing 8 in here. I'm seeing 8, which means that I have, after this month, I have 2 more months where I can continue doing this without running out of series to complete. And also, I'm caught up on probably about 20 series currently. And a lot of those series have books coming out this year. And so I'm going to also, as each month happens, I'm going to add those books in. So at the beginning of this month, at the beginning of January, I added in every series that I'm currently caught up on where they have a book coming out in January. I added them in. So far I've added in, I added in Alyssa Cole, the Reluctant Royals. I added that series in. I added in The Folk of the Air. I added in Jessica Townsend, The Trials of Morgan Crow. I added that one in. And then next time that more books come out, so then in February, at the beginning of February, I'm going to add in Narwhal and Jelly, and I'm going to add in, I think that's it for February. my next series that I'm caught up on. And in February as well, I can add in the Ravenels because I'm caught up on that series. So I can add those two in February, and that will give me a couple more. And then in March, The True Queen comes out by Zen Cho. So that will give me a third one. And then also the Honey Badger Chronicles will give me another one. And then also in March is the Time series by Megan Morrison. So there's like 5 more that will get added. So that gives me a whole nother month of reading. And then in April, the next Aru Shah book comes out. And then the next Reluctant Royals book. So that will give me 2 more. And so like the way I like really, before I ended up making these my like goals for the year, is I did go through and I like looked and I'm like, is this realistic? Is this realistic? Can I keep up with it? Will I not have enough series to finish without like having to read like, well, 5 books from the series in order to finish it and stuff like, but no, it's totally realistic if I'm counting like catching up on series, which I really, really like. So I was like very specific in doing that and like making sure that it was like realistic, and it is, and I don't feel like overwhelmed in the slightest right now, and I'm super excited to start all my reading tomorrow. I have used Scribd. I don't particularly like it. I don't know. The way I track my reading for my audiobooks is I like to see how many hours I am through, and I don't know, this might be like totally ridiculous, but I really, really hate that they don't let you show how many hours you are through. It just shows you how much is left in the chapter, and that's the only information they'll give you. I have no idea how much is left in the book at all when reading a Scribd book, which I really, really, really hate. And 2, the fact that you can only check out 2 new audiobooks a month is like not enough for me. Like I read way too much for that. Right now currently I have just for January I have like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I have like 20 minimum audiobooks on my list for just January. Like 2 is not going to add much to my life. So until they like fix that so that it actually is unlimited like they claim, I'm not going to use them, unfortunately. But I can see how other people like them, and they will let you check like backlist items sometimes, so you can have like 2 new ones but then like have like other like random ones that you can still get, but it just doesn't super work for me, unfortunately. But yeah, if they ever fix that and actually make it unlimited or stop claiming to be unlimited, I would definitely consider them in the future, but I would really want them to like fix their interface, because I hate not being able to know how much I have left in a book. Hate it so much. And maybe they have fixed it somewhat since I did try it, but I don't know if that's true. Anyway, that's my reading plans for the year. They're excessive, but super fun, and I'm really excited, and it all feels very doable to me as well, which feels awesome. It's a really good feeling that. So, by the way, in case you were interested in, I did pull out 2 at the beginning of this month. I pulled them out yesterday. I did pull out 2 of the Audible like categories and stuff just to like see if I'm like wanting a romance and just like whatever. I have these 2 pulled out so I can find books from them. And the 2 that I chose are a frontier romance and a thriller. And I'm like, okay, I have read like maybe 1 frontier book, and I don't know if I've read any thriller romances, so I'm gonna have to go through these and see if any of these appeal. And these will be the 2 that I'm like trying to pull from for the first month or 2 of the year. So anyway, hopefully I find something that's appealing for me. Oh, there's a Taylor Jenkins read. Maybe if I really love Evelyn Hugo, I'll try When True Loves. Is that the same author? Did I just make that up? Is that how you spell her name? Yeah, that's the same author. So maybe I'll read 2 by her this month. Who knows? Yeah, I guess if you only listen out loud in your car, I can see how it would be uncomfortable. I don't usually listen out loud in the car. The only thing that I listen to out loud in the car is usually podcasts, actually. And then I listen to almost everything else, like at home or at work. Where, I don't know, but I listen to everything sped up. Like, I listen to everything at, like, 2 times speed or higher. And, like, I can hear it so clearly that I'm like, how are other people not hearing this? But, like, I've actually, like, gotten over that at work and stuff, and I'll like have it playing like out loud, like when I'm on my lunch break and stuff up there, even though there's other people up there, because nobody can literally understand anything that the narrator is saying at all. So I'm like, they're totally having sex right now and nobody can hear it, and it's fine. I just think it's really funny. I do tend to like turn it down lower though, just in case. But yeah, it's, as long as you listen to it speed up, I don't think anyone can actually understand it. Also, I like speed it up more and more as I go along. So often it will like, I'll get it up to like 2 times speed or 2.5 times speed or whatever. And like I get higher and higher. And so I'm like, literally no one can understand this. If like my husband who listens to audiobooks sped up can't understand what this person's saying right now, no one else can either. So those are my thoughts for the year. I hope they're doable. And I'm very excited. And I'm going to finish so many series this year. Y'all will be shooketh to your core. I am going to end up actually making all of these like spreads in my bullet journal and like have like a thing where I can cross off like a square every time I finish a series and cross off a square every time I read a sequel, and cross off a square whenever I like do my book bingo and stuff. So that's what I plan on doing tonight and tomorrow. Is writing out my bullet journal during Christopher's live stream and planning that all out and sticking them all in, and it's gonna be lovely and super, super satisfying. You forgot that at 2 times speed nobody can understand what's happening. Yeah, exactly. Which is like something, I don't know, and I've like tested it on my coworkers before as well, like where I don't even feel like I had it sped up like quite to 2 times speed. And like I had a coworker come up, I'm like, could you just listen to like 10 seconds of this and tell me if you understand anything the narrator just said? And she was like, I don't understand a single word. And I'm like, perfect. Thanks. Yeah, no one can understand it. You're fine. Everything's fine. Listen to your romance. You got this, Keisha. Oh, and thank you. Thank you, Liz. I hope I'm gonna do so well. I have high plans, and I'm so in the mood to, like, read all of these books. So, it's okay. We got it. And then I think next week, my live stream next week, I think I'm gonna go over how I feel about my reading year from 2018, because I'm not totally done with the year, and I don't want to, like, say anything official until I've read every book that I'm gonna read this year. Because I have several more that I'm going to finish that, like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to love, but I don't know where they, like, rank or anything. So I think next week I'm going to talk about how I feel about my reading year from 2018, my favorites, my just general feelings about the year and stuff like that. And then, yeah. That's why I wanted to make this one like my goals video and planning, and then I'll probably continue doing more planning videos like this, especially the week before the new year begins. Not the new year, the new month begins. I will probably end up doing a live stream like this and like really planning out my reading. So like the 27th, I'll probably end up doing like an intensive one for the next month, and then on like February 24th, I'll probably do the same thing, and like a week before it starts, so that way I have enough time to like check out audiobooks and get put on holds and do all that stuff. And that's what I'm going to do right here, is I already had sort of done some of these and checked them out and stuff, and so the ones that I haven't, now I can go try to do that, see if I can get holds, and if I can't, then I'll like buy them and I like can get it all set up. So anyway, you find accent and narrators, you can only listen at 1.5. Yeah, and my narration speed of what I choose to listen to, like, is totally dependent on the narrator. I've had some narrators that I've played at 3 times speed. Christopher doesn't usually listen above, like, 1.6. I've played them at 3 times speed, and I've said, babe, listen to this. And he's like, okay, yeah. Like, I can understand everything they're saying. I'm like, yeah, that's because this narrator is as slow as molasses. We're at 3 times speed right now. And he's like, no way. And I'm like, yeah. So there's, like, some that I've listened to that high. And then some of them I will listen at, like, 1.7 speed and stuff like that. I currently am... Like, my current audiobook I'm listening to, I'm at 1.85. Like, I vary per book depending on my mood and feeling for each book. So, anyway. That's what's happening. Yeah, it's too slow. I can't concentrate if it's that slow anymore. My mind wanders. Oh, one last thing I want to say, and this is another book on my list, so don't worry, I am going to read it. One more thing I want to say is, I'm not sure when it's going to happen. We haven't fully decided, but we are doing the Alchemist File read-along this year. We want to do a live show in January. We just haven't figured out a date yet. I'll definitely let you know as soon as we do have a date figured out. And so I will be reading Alchemist File this month as well, the first book, and I'm super excited. And I'm going to try to go get the audiobook, the second one, on hold right now so that I can listen to that one as soon as I finish the first one and everything. So I will be reading one Artemis Fowl book a month as well. I'm super excited. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up right now. I've been going for 3 hours. I feel much better now than I did at the beginning. At the beginning of the live stream, I was like, my brain is not functioning. And now I feel awesome. So now I'm gonna go and read a bajillion children's picture books. It's gonna be glorious, and I'm gonna finish figuring out what books I can need to get from the library and stuff like that as well. So that's everything. I love you all. You're awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me for so long. Y'all are literally the best, and the only reason I can come and keep doing this is because of the great interactions that we have. I don't like the Artemis Fowl trailer. I probably will not watch the movie unless Kara says that it's amazing. But I am excited to reread the books because I love the books so much. It was good to see you too. Thanks, Tamara. Oh, thank you, Liz. You too. Happy New Year's, everyone. Thank you, Kitty. Yes, I'll see you tomorrow for sure, Judith. And hopefully I'll see most of you there at Christopher's stream tomorrow over on Twitch. Support my husband, please. He'll appreciate it, and I'll appreciate it too. Oh, thank you for sharing. Okay, no problem. I love sharing my reading goals, obviously. Yum, Chinese food. Send me some. Finish your reading goals. That sounds awesome. All right, thank you all so much. I love you all. Y'all are amazing. And I will see you hopefully tomorrow at Christopher's stream. But if not, I'll see you next Sunday for my next live stream. Bye, everyone.